Okay, let's be real for a second. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder what happens if you just lose access to your crypto? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to build your ultimate cryptocurrency fortress because honestly, understanding how to secure your digital assets, especially knowing the difference between hot and cold wallets, has literally never been more critical. Whether you're a total beginner who just grabbed your very first fraction of a Bitcoin, or you're an experienced investor looking to finally take serious custody of a growing portfolio, mastering the tools that protect your wealth is hands down the most important investment you will ever make in this space. I mean, just look at this number, $2.2 billion. That is how much was stolen from crypto users globally in 2024 alone, according to Chainalysis. That's a mind-blowing amount of money. But you know what the real kicker is here? Nearly half of those massive thefts were the direct result of compromised private keys. So that means billions of dollars weren't lost because the blockchain itself was hacked or broken or anything like that. No, they were lost because the keys to the kingdom were just left completely unguarded by the users themselves.
So, to make sure you never become part of that devastating statistic, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to quickly run through the crypto security challenge, compare hot versus cold wallets, see exactly how offline signing works, talk about the human vulnerability aspects, and then wrap things up with a pro wallet strategy.
All right, Section 1, the Crypto Security Challenge. Let's start by establishing a core foundational concept that honestly trips up a ton of beginners. Because, well, you absolutely cannot protect what you don't fundamentally understand. Actually, we kind of have to unlearn how traditional banking works first. Think of your crypto wallet like a keyring. Now, this completely blows a lot of beginners' minds, but your cryptocurrency lives entirely on the blockchain. Forever. Your wallet doesn't actually hold digital coins the way your literal leather wallet holds physical dollar bills. Nope. It simply holds the cryptographic keys needed to unlock your address on the network. It's like if you drop your physical house key in a river, your house doesn't just poof disappear, right? You just need your backup key to get back inside. Whether you're using a hardware device, an app on your phone, or just a piece of paper, the coins never actually leave the network. You just hold the keys that prove they're yours. And that brings us to the private key itself. Basically, a private key is just a secretly generated, incredibly large random number. To put that into perspective, trying to guess someone's private key is mathematically like trying to find one specific single grain of sand hidden somewhere across all the beaches on Earth. It's practically impossible to just guess or brute force. But, and this is a massive but, whoever controls this huge, unpredictable number completely controls your digital wealth. It's basically your account number and your master password all rolled into one. If someone else gets their hands on this string of text, your funds are gone. Boom. So protecting this key has got to be your absolute top priority. Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, hot versus cold wallets. Now that we know what a private key is and why it's so vital, let's compare the two primary places you can actually store it. You can immediately see the direct contrast here. We're looking at the high convenience of internet-connected software versus the high friction of offline physical hardware. A hot wallet, think MetaMask or a crypto app on your phone, is always connected to the web. It's super fast, super easy to use. A cold wallet, on the other hand, is completely offline by default. It usually looks kind of like a USB thumb drive. You only plug it in when you absolutely need to make a move. And, in the world of security, that added physical friction, it's actually a massive advantage. When you look at this breakdown, it really boils down to a trade-off between speed and security. Hot wallets are almost always totally free, which makes them awesome for everyday use, like, grabbing a quick NFT or paying for a Web3 service. But because they're online, they're inherently vulnerable to hacks, malware, you name it. Cold wallets cost money, typically somewhere between $50 to $200. But what you're buying is an offline, physical sanctuary for your long-term, high-value storage. Honestly, it's a really small price to pay to protect what could be thousands or even millions of dollars in digital assets.
Okay, moving on to Section 3, how offline signing works. How does a little piece of plastic actually interact with the internet to send money without getting hacked? Let's take a look under the hood.
This is where the invisible magic happens. Imagine you want to send some crypto. Step 1, your computer or phone creates a draft of the transaction, an unsigned intent, basically. It passes this rough draft over to your hardware wallet through a cable or Bluetooth. Step 2, the device wakes up and makes you physically push a button to approve it. Step 3 is the crucial part. The transaction is cryptographically signed entirely offline, deep inside a highly secure computer chip. We're talking a CCEAL6 Plus secure element, basically a bank vault inside a vault. Finally, step 4, that completed, mathematically signed transaction gets passed back to your computer so it can be broadcast out to the blockchain. And right here is the golden rule.
the exact reason why cold wallets are the absolute gold standard in crypto. At no point do your private keys ever leave the hardware wallet device. Literally, never. You can have a laptop that is totally riddled with spyware, keyloggers, viruses, the whole shebang. A hacker could literally be watching your screen, but they still cannot extract the private key from that physical device sitting on your desk. The key stays locked away inside that tiny, isolated microchip forever.
But wait, even the most advanced offline fortress in the world can't protect you if you just hand over the keys yourself, right? That brings us to Section 4, the human vulnerability. Here is a somewhat terrifying reality check about Web3. Modern hackers usually aren't even trying to break your encryption anymore. Honestly, breaking cryptography is mathematically just too hard. Instead, as this quote points out, social engineering is the biggest threat. They are exploiting human psychology to just completely bypass all your fancy tech defenses. They weaponize greed, FOMO, or just plain curiosity to trick you into authorizing the theft all by yourself. These scammers are getting insanely sophisticated. Just look at AI deepfakes, right? We're seeing crazy, realistic, AI-generated videos of tech billionaires promoting fake crypto airdrops online. They create this massive sense of urgency, and suddenly thousands of people are connecting their wallets to shady websites, instantly draining their funds. Or take address poisoning. This is where a scammer sends you a tiny amount of crypto from an address that looks almost exactly like yours. They're hoping you'll lazily copy their address from your history the next time you go to send yourself funds. You have got to stay vigilant, guys. In Web3, there is no customer service hotline to call and reverse a fraudulent charge. Once your crypto is gone, it is gone for good. So how do the pros actually balance all this? Let's get into Section 5, the pro wallet strategy, and see how the big players build a robust defense. As you can see right here, the professional playbook uses a very strict two-tier system. It's the classic don't put all your eggs in one basket approach. Pros keep just a tiny sliver of their assets, let's say 5%, online in a hot wallet. This gives them daily liquidity for trading, minting, or paying for services. Think of it like your checking account or walking around money. Meanwhile, they lock the vast majority, that 95%, away in cold storage, their long-term treasury. That way, if they accidentally click a bad link and their hot wallet gets compromised, the damage is completely contained. And institutions? They take it a massive step further by using what's called a multi-signature or multisig wallet. Think of this as a digital lockbox that literally requires a threshold of different keys to open, like 2 out of 3. So imagine a company with 3 founders in New York, London, and Tokyo. If they want to move treasury funds, at least 2 of them have to physically approve the transaction from their own separate devices. It completely wipes out the single point of failure. If one founder loses their key or gets phished, the hacker still can't steal the funds because they don't have that second required signature. Pretty brilliant, right? All right, let's wrap all this technical stuff up with some actionable rules you can apply literally today. First, guard your seed phrases with your life. Write them down on physical paper or stamp them in metal, but never, ever type them into a website or save them on your phone. Second, get your long-term holdings off centralized exchanges. Exchanges are fine for active trading, but they are not built for decade-long storage. Third, use a hardware wallet for your main treasury. Fourth, implement strict access controls on your devices. And fifth, if your portfolio is getting pretty large, definitely look into setting up a multi-sig wallet. To wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a provocative question to help you evaluate your own setup. If your laptop or phone was completely compromised right this second, would your private keys survive? Really think about that, because in the crypto world, education, healthy skepticism, and proactive security are literally the only things standing between you and a total loss. So take the time to build your fortress today, well before you actually need it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and definitely stay safe out there in the digital frontier.